I'm Dani 702 and welcome to Las Vegas. Today we will be exploring the Tropicana Las Vegas Hotel and Casino, a classic. The Tropicana is a still standing classic, one of the longest standing resorts since it is the second oldest resort on the Las Vegas Strip that is still around, with the Flamingo being the first down the street. It also makes it one of the last remaining hotels to be built in the 1950s. Even though a lot of the original building is gone and has been remodeled quite a few times, this hotel takes us back to the glamorous days of Vegas. Maybe it's outdated nowadays, but this resort still has that classic vintage touch that I still enjoy. Back in the 1950s, Las Vegas looked very, very different. When the Tropicana was first built, you would have to get into a car and then drive down the street to get to the next closest casino. But as you can see now, this intersection is very busy. There are 3 casinos right across the way in all directions. And this intersection of Tropicana and Las Vegas Boulevard has the most hotel rooms in an intersection in all of the world. So we have MGM, New York, and the Excalibur right here on Tropicana and Las Vegas Boulevard. All very different styles of hotels, and the Trop, well, is still holding strong. So what do you guys think? Let's head inside. Let's jump back to the 1950s and explore the Tropicana. Here is the lobby area, the registration desk. Very spacious, very clean looking. When I think of the Tropicana, I think of the good old days. The days where coming out to Vegas meant dressing in slacks and jackets and beautiful 50s dresses. It was an unwritten rule, but coming to the casinos those days, you pretty much had to dress your best. Speaking of dressing in your best, this weekend is EDC weekend here in Vegas. That's a whole other way to dress your best, but it's still fun to see. It was once called the Tiffany of the Strip. I read that each guest had more than one employee taking care of them to ensure prompt and prestige service. The hotel opened on April 4th, 1957, making it 65 years old. It still has a tropical theme which resembles resorts in Miami in that era, which makes sense because the original owner had a well-known resort in Miami. There are a few choices for food over here at the Trop. We've got a public house. I have been in here before. They got some good food, and they also have a Red Lotus, which is an Asian kitchen. Small, but hey, it works. Oh, here's their sports book. Pretty small. Ben Jaffe purchased 40 acres of land and built the 12th resort here on the Las Vegas Strip. It opened with 300 rooms and had a 3-story building that was built in a Y shape. The architect was also from Miami, which I think shows even now in 2022, with the bold white facade and tropical decor. I love the mosaic tile entrance and the stained glass, which I believe wasn't added until maybe the late 70s or early 80s. But the tall slope ceiling makes the lobby and casino area feel very, very spacious. Frank Costello, an infamous gangster, had a big hand in the opening, but it was pretty much not known until plans and profit notes were found on him a night that he had been shot. This is a nice looking lounge over here. I don't remember this being here before. Triago Lounge. It looks like they host karaoke Thursdays and live DJs every Friday and Saturday night. I think a huge plus are the classic shows and fantastic impersonators that you'll see here at the Trop. So Legends in Concert is here, which is the longest running show on the Strip. And then they have a Prince tribute show, which I've heard some fantastic things about. And then MJ Live is at the Trop. So I rave about MJ Live. I absolutely love that show. I saw that show when he was over at the Stratosphere. Best Michael Jackson impersonator. I mean, he sings like him, he dances like him. It's the closest you're gonna get to Michael Jackson. I have been really hoping to be able to see that again. It'd be cool to see it in this theater. I have been in this theater before, actually. I've seen 2 or 3 shows here, and it's a fantastic theater. Lots of seating, and I believe, if I remember this correctly, we've got sloped seating too, so no matter where you sit, you've got a good seat. I just walked up to the mezzanine level, which is where they have Laugh Factory. So I just saw on the news actually this morning that Laugh Factory is now currently 10 years old. They've got Rich Little here, who has a residency, as well as Murray the Magician. I did notice this. We've got John Lovitz coming and also Pauly Shore. This all looks so different to me than the last time I came through here. I think that whole lounge area is somewhat new, unless I'm just remembering completely wrong. It looks completely different. They got a Starbucks and then something over here called Fresh Mix. Oh, but this is definitely closed. The pool area is my favorite part of this resort. It still has that vintage feel to me, but the waterfalls and the lush landscaping makes you feel like you have escaped the desert and went into an oasis. I can spend a whole day here drinking pina coladas by the pool. They've got a little bar here off to the side. They used to have something called Sky Beach, which I think was more like a day club. It looks like that is now gone, and now it's just the normal pool for hotel guests. I feel like they used to have a swim-up bar somewhere. This is completely different than what I remembered when I stayed here. All right, I'm not even going to say how many years ago. Give away my age. So these are the 3-story. There are some along the pool as well. I saw that it swung around and the fitness center is over the pool. Then we've got 2 towers. So there's one here, which I believe is the tower. No, you know what? I think I stayed there when I was 18. And then when I was a kid, I stayed at this one because this one has the view of the Las Vegas Strip. We're now leaving the casino level and heading back upstairs to a hall that leads you all the way down to the island tower in the back. Up here we have a gift shop. Welcome to Las Vegas, full of your Las Vegas goodies. We have more food choices. I believe this is called Oakville, which is a steakhouse. And then if you swing around, we've got another restaurant here. Well, this hallway's looking a little bare. We used to have vendors on each side as you walked down. Now the shelves are looking pretty empty. Now that we're on a higher level, I can tell that this is the side that used to hold the day club. It's sort of more private booths and private cabanas over here. And it looks like even a stage, like a platform, or maybe they had a DJ, or maybe some dancers. And there's even more bungalows, so I'm thinking maybe one of these 3-story buildings are the original. Maybe. In the 60s, a golf course was added across the way where MGM is currently located, and that was a big draw for visitors. It was known to be a top-notch golf course that had 18 holes and a country club. Also from 1959 to 2009, there was a French-style topless revue called Foley's Brigure. Now this show is a huge part of making showgirls or showgirl-style shows famous here in Vegas. I have a memory of a restaurant that used to be right where that spa is now. Whether it's a real memory or not, I just feel like there used to be, maybe that's where their buffet was? I don't know. I just have this strong memory of eating at this place, which is now where you can get a massage. There is a sign here saying that it's reserved for a wedding ceremony, and please do not enter this area, so I'm not going to go past this sign. But this is such a great spot for a wedding, I think. We do see the MGM. If you go further down, I'm sure you can see New York, New York. Maybe even the top of Aria, some really cool resorts across the way. And then with all of the trees and the foliage and just the landscaping itself, I just think it's a really great spot for a wedding. And look how cute that chapel is. Now, they once had a Titanic walk-through museum here. The first time I went through that was when it was here at the Trop. Legit one of the coolest museums, by the way. That's now located at the Luxor. They also had a mob museum for only about 2 years, but it looked freaking awesome. I never got to see that myself, but I did watch a few videos online, and it just looked really, really cool, super interactive. And then the idea of a mob museum and a once affiliated mob resort is just a pretty sick concept. So the first time I ever stayed here, I had to be maybe 11 or 12 years old, and I came out here with some of my girlfriends and their parents. And I have a really funny memory of us dancing around in the hotel room and jumping from bed to bed, just acting like a complete fool. But then we found out later on that the windows in the room weren't tinted, and everyone driving down Las Vegas Boulevard probably saw us dancing out a whole NSYNC concert. Up to one of the higher levels and just checking out the views. I also just kind of like looking at where the rooms are. So even the room and the hallways in this tower is looking very, very tropical. Look at this view. This is pretty cool. So you either have the view of the Las Vegas Strip, or if you're looking the other way, we're right next to the airport. You can watch the planes taking off or touching down. I was about to call it the McCarran Airport. It's no longer the McCarran. It's now the Harry Reid, right? That was a change that happened while we were living in Florida. I personally think the Tropicana goes under the radar as far as hotels here on the Strip. There's really no big attraction drawing tourists here nowadays, but I think it's a really great option for hotel stays. The rates are fair, hovering around $100, but I did catch a few nights at $39, and the suites here look freaking dope. So there are pictures on their website with a really amazing view down Las Vegas Boulevard in the suite. I used to pick the lower end resorts, or maybe the more affordable resorts when you come to Las Vegas, and then you would upgrade to a suite, which sometimes comes out to the same price as a standard room in one of the bigger hotels on the Strip. And I had no complaints on my stays here. I really would love to come back and stay in one of the bungalows or hopefully an original room, especially since you never know the fate of the older hotels. The Trop was recently sold, and it's a always changing city. Thanks so much for exploring with me today here at the Tropicana. Hit that subscribe button for more in Las Vegas and its surrounding areas. I do have a Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. I will add that link below. But until next time, guys, take time to explore your town, and we'll see you later. Peace.